Hello and good day. This is Paul Dominic Tacogue of IS101 Section B3 presenting Electronic Payment Systems. Electronic payment systems, or more commonly known as online payment systems or e-payment systems, is a method of transaction that facilitates trade between two parties through an electronic medium without the use of checks or cash. It enables long-distance transaction between parties and removes much of the troubles of exchanging currencies physically. Such systems have been long in use since the 1910s. However, the concept of transferring funds across the wire has been realized in as early as 1871 when the then named Western Union Telegraph Company launched electronic fund transfers, which is a method of exchanging funds without the need for the physical exchange of cash. There are multiple different methods of online payment, each one having their own strengths and weaknesses that allow them to function in a given environment, as some payment methods were created in order to fit within a certain niche. Examples of such types of online payment are credit and debit cards, bank payments, mobile money wallets or e-wallets, mobile payment, and prepaid cards. In order to learn how an electronic payment system functions, we must first learn the parts that compose it. Such parts are an Internet merchant account, a payment gateway, payment processors and networks, an issuing bank, and an acquiring bank. In order for a merchant to be able to conduct business online, they must first lay out the necessary structures and foundations. To start, a merchant needs to set up an Internet merchant account, which is like a bank account for online businesses. It allows the merchant to deposit and withdraw funds from their account. Following that, a merchant must also utilize a payment gateway service to enable transactions between customers and the merchant and between the merchant and the banks. Whenever a transaction occurs between customer and merchant, their information will be first sent to the payment gateway service, where it would be encrypted and transmitted towards a series of approved payment processors and networks in order to validate the legitimacy of the transaction so that it may be authorized or declined. Once the transaction is authorized, the information will be then sent to another payment processor and towards the issuing bank, which is the bank that issues credit to the customer, and the acquiring bank, which processes credit and debit transaction on behalf of the merchant. The banks themselves then facilitate the transfer of cash between the two parties automatically, completing the transaction. As online payment is increasingly being used more prominently and commonly across the globe, there would always be those that would be willing to break and exploit it for their own benefits. Like many systems, electronic payment systems have their own flaws and vulnerabilities that must be addressed and patched up in order to ensure the security and integrity of the entire structure itself. Here's a list of methods you can do to increase the security of your electronic payment system. Use two-factor authentication, acquire SSL certificate, comply with the PCI data security standards, store sensitive data on trusted third-party services, and use secure commerce platforms. And that is all. Thank you for listening to my presentation.